So for anyone who doesn't know, this is Monkey Magic that we're speaking to. Monkey Magic won the BABS Quartet Championship in 2008, and they've represented us several times, kind of both nationally in all kinds of venues and on the international stage. As of 2019, they've been inducted into the BABS Hall of Fame, one of a very small number of actual ensembles to be inducted into the Hall of Fame as a group, which is fantastic. I guess first things first, for anyone who might not know you, if you just go kind of across the sofa and say who you are and maybe what part you sing, maybe what your favorite biscuit is, and we'll get underway.
Of course, yes. So my name's Alan Hughes. I am the tenor.
I'm Zach Balls and I sing lead.
I'm Duncan Blackerby and I sing bass.
I'm Joe Knight. I sing baritone.
Fantastic.
Argue.
So I think we're going to start at the very, very beginning. I hear it's a very good place to start, so we'll go from there. How did all of you stumble upon this thing that we do called barbershop?
That really is like the beginning. I know Joe and my stories are quite similar. We both found it through our dad. So
yep.
Joe's dad is well-known gold medal quartet singer Dick Knight, and my dad is Peter Hughes, who was on the contest admin team for many years, amongst other things. So we were kind of brought up on it. I was really keen to get into barbershop from a very early age. Joe, you weren't.
More rebellious.
So it would be remiss if I didn't also mention that my mum, Dennis Knight, of course, a Labs gold medalist from 1983 of Bristol Creek. So I just missed out on joining them for that performance. It was just before my time. Barbershop for my brother Tom and I was always that thing that older guys do in my dad's chorus and come along for a rehearsal. No thanks, I'll stick with school.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that sounds great.
That's my thing. And it wasn't until the barbershop youth chorus came along, MBYC, that all of a sudden an avenue opened up for my brother and I and others to do that our way. Yeah. What about you guys?
So I got into it. I had a maths teacher when I was in sixth form at school who decided it'd be fun to get a barbershop quartet together. And so, there was 4 of us from sixth form that just formed a quartet, sang a few songs. And it was great fun. I really enjoyed it. And then I went on a gap year and decided I'd try and do some more of it. And my mum was friends through a book group or WI with somebody that was in the White Rosettes, and said, there's a men's chorus called Spirit of Harmony that rehearsed just down the road. So I just rocked up to a rehearsal one day and was very warmly welcomed by Andy Salter, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Oh, so that's, I didn't know, because I know obviously your dad Duncan also sings barbershop, but did he get into it because of you rather than the other way around?
Yes, so he ended up doing it because we had a Spirit of Harmony meal at convention, and we were all in the room, and Andy Salter said, right, all the ladies go into the dining room ready for the meal. All the men stay here, and then he said, right, we're going to go in and we're going to sing, I can't even remember what song it was, Good Night Sweetheart or something. We're going to go in and sing it to the ladies, and my dad wasn't a chorus member, he was just there as a spectator and just kind of rabbit in the headlights, just kind of like walked in and just went, okay, well, I guess I'm singing now. But enjoyed it so much that we played him to come along and join Spirit of Harmony. So yeah, it's the other way around that I introduced him to it. So he was known as Duncan's dad for a long time.
Duncan's dad, yeah.
Very much like he was known as Al's dad.
And also, so your maths teacher, was your maths teacher a barbershopper, or did he just have this idea that it would be cool to have a barbershop quartet in school?
As far as I know, he just thought it would just be fun to do a barbershop quartet.
Just a neat idea.
Yeah. No relationship to BABS or any of the other organisations. Just thought it would be fun. So yeah.
So it's funny how maths and music seem to fit together so well in many cases.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean.
I mean, it's weirdly cyclical in a way, because Peter Blackerby also taught me the foundations of singing when I joined Spirit, and like we used to have, so he was the bass section leader when I joined. So,
And Zach, how about you?
I was quite content staying at home playing my N64 until my mum said, "You're coming with us to this concert now," because a distant family was a solo singer, a semi-pro opera singer and music teacher around the kind of Loughborough area where I grew up. And you're coming to see Caroline. Okay, fine. And on the show was the Grand Central Chorus, of which Rob Barber, who went on to start the National Barbershop Youth Chorus, had taken over about maybe 2 or 3 months before. So I'm sat there thinking, this is good. And the guy up front's younger than them, I suppose. Fair comment to it. But it was interesting. And afterwards, and it was leaving, one of them started chatting to me, and I didn't just walk away or kind of thing. I was interested musically, with the sound and stuff. And then actually Joe Braham's dad, Nick Barnacle, was arranged to pick me up and give me a lift that Wednesday night and go along. So and that was it, really. Just for them Woods was more than happy to get singing.
Amazing. So it's, as a quartet, I guess you're sort of like half Barber brat and half kind of just fortuitous just coincidence, like just tripping over it somewhere at school or through family, and that's all that happened.
Maybe we should have been called Fortuity.
That doesn't fly as a name, I don't think, that one. So you mentioned earlier the NBYC, the National Barbershop Youth Chorus. Was that how the 4 of you met for the first time?
As a quartet, yes.
Year 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, me and Zach knew each other before that.
You sang in a quartet previously, didn't you, the 2 of you?
That's right.
Yeah, This Way Up with Rob Barber, director of Grand Central, kind of said, "You're singing quartet with me," and I didn't know how to say no, so that's fine. But he's like, I know this tenor, your age over in Telford, and fine. And then Andy Foster actually was the baritone. So in the youth chorus, I think there was one year when it was. It was year 2 when Monkey Magic really. I think the first year was very. Was a flash, but then the second year suddenly there was like section leaders being called for, and we were kind of the 4 faces that when Rob was like, "Sing this part for me," were the guys who was picking on the most, or the guys that were willing to do it, but possibly kind of thing. So we kind of had opportunities to sing together, and they're all in quartets that we used to do a lot. Suddenly it's this combination.
So you were sort of the 4 de facto section leaders.
It wasn't. It was more official maybe after that, but it was an element of that kind of feeling. And then This Way, there was the Harmony College show, and the quartet had dropped out. It might have been This Way Up, I can't remember. There was a quartet like, "We've got space on the show. Does a youth quartet want it?" And Rob went, "Yeah, those guys will do it."
Being told
to begin with, yeah, absolutely. So, which was fine with the name
Tim Braham and the Hurricanes.
Joe Braham was just walking around going, "Is this your fault? Why are people asking me if Tim's here this week?"
Tim was leaving Harmony College, and everybody was, "Oh, I didn't know Tim was in a quartet."
And of course, the Hurricanes is also a quartet name that would absolutely never work for anyone. So
absolutely. But we weren't really an official quartet. We were there just for the show, but then it was.
We sang No Nora on the Harmony College show, and it was good. It wasn't great, but it was like, whoa, that was exciting. At the time in Babs, different to now, there wasn't a big kind of youth scene. There was a youth chorus, and obviously people were just so warm and encouraging to the youth chorus, and then to us when we sang on this show.
And then was it Mike O'Neill, the guest educator that year?
I think it was.
It Rick? I can't remember if it was Rick or if it was Mike. But the American educator that was over sat next to Bill Harvey, the then band's chairman. Was like, why do I not see Babs represented at the collegiate contest? And Bill went, "Good question."
What a great question.
Agreed that they were going to set up a youth contest that following prelims and that kind of thing. It was very just how it was done back then, but we're not going to complain.
Right.
And then so we different quartets were were formed. 4 of them, Thunderbirds,
Raglan
Rock. There was one more,
Yeah.
I'm sure, and then
some kids TV program.
we can thank Tim Barkworth, the current youth coordinator at the time, for who got what name.
But the quartets were set up as sort of lucky dip almost, with some people singing in multiple quartets just because of the number of voices that we had in the youth chorus at the time. And Monkey Magic was the only one where there was a little bit of structure of, we're going to put these 4 guys together as opposed to making it slightly more random. But yes, the name was Tim Barkworth. About midnight the night before all the quartet submissions had to be in, saying, right, kids TV shows, that'll do.
Yeah.
And put all the names on. So yeah, Monkey Magic stuck.
And actually, when we compete with a view to go to that youth contest, we weren't fully aware that because it was such a new setup, technically, no, we were part of the main contest as well. We thought it was just a separate contest. Oh no, because that would be set up in later years. But that first year, it was, no, you're in the main contest. Oh, cool. Didn't think about it, and then the scores came out. It's like, oh, okay, we're not far behind Evolution.
Yeah.
4 gold medal, gold medalists. Well, that's unexpected. And me and Al were actually still in this way up.
Yeah,
and Rob and Andy kind of went, look, just go for it.
Yeah, and I was.
And
I was
you were the
singing with
questionables.
Yeah, I think the question was with Duncan Yates and Craig
Ryan,
Kehoe.
yeah.
And, yeah.
Absolutely. And you
I was singing with Cadence with my brother, and
absolutely. So it kind of it was a shift for us.
So basically, what happened was the results of prelims came out. Evolution had qualified in first.
We didn't know the results.
Right.
We were in our review with the judge after.
Oh, okay.
So everyone else had got the results, kind of the overall results before we had. So we walked out and like, yay! We're like, what?
So yeah, Evolution we were in second. Now we're quite a few points behind. But we were in second. We were like, really? we literally threw our ballad "What'll I Do." We'd sung "No No Nora" with the youth chorus. We threw our ballad "What'll I Do" together quite quickly. We just heard the American Quartet do it. It's like, okay, let's do that. And literally after 1 or 2 rehearsals, like threw it together. And so we were literally in shock when we were in second place we won the youth contest and was second place in the main contest. And we're like, what? Really? And then it's kind of like, okay, so let's put some work in over the next 6 months.
Let's learn 2 more songs.
Let's learn 2 more songs.
Because I think in hindsight, I think we tend to think of when you won the national contest in 2008, we tend to kind of think of that as a sort of watershed moment for, the arrival of the youth movement, in BABS and in British Barbershop. Did it feel like that at the time, or it feels like it might have just felt a bit more, not confusing, but kind of just going with the flow and riding some kind of wave?
The contest weekend was unique in a way because we'd won the collegiate, or we'd won the youth contest, so we already knew we were going to America.
Right.
And that was so in my head, the BABS contest was a warm up.
It was kind of gravy, wasn't it? Yeah.
We weren't there to compete, but it was a reason to sing these songs because we knew we were going to sing 2 of them at the collegiate contest in America anyway. So the pressure wasn't as on as it could have been.
Yeah.
There wasn't any.
I mean, we wore those silver shoes that were brand new pretty much a week before. We're in the car park, weren't we? Trying to scratch and scuff the bottoms so we didn't slip over and stuff like that. Was one of our warm-ups on the day.
Yeah.
Ice skating around the carpets almost because they were that brand new. So it was very chilled compared to some.
I think to us, we were, I suppose in hindsight, you could say it was a watershed moment for youth barbershop. To us, we were just for 21, 22-year-olds just going and having a good time with really not much expectation. So we'd really not thought about being like representatives of the youth or anything like that. No, we just like.
For me, the watershed moment had been 9 months before at the Harmony College, where the youth chorus was a stream and was on the show, and we sang that scratch quartet.
And the youth chorus were on the show that weekend,
yeah,
as well. Anyway, so I think that felt more of the watershed moment for us. But
being just a happy byproduct of the youth chorus.
Sort of, you became accidentally sort of representatives of the youth chorus to a kind of wider stage, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to see the number of people from the MBYC who have gone on to to have quartet success or direct. We've got Andy Allen, Tim Briggs, who have gone on to Craig Key, who have gone on to direct gold medal
BABS
choruses.
board as well. Not,
You know, Zach's had some success at directing at times.
It's hard sometimes, isn't it, to know what, like you say, looking back at something like a watershed moment, you can start to see it. But like, I know when I joined, I was given a CD by Rob Barber, which I think had Monkey Magic singing No No Nora on a couple of songs from Cadence, like just a bunch of recordings that had been put together. And for me, back when I had CD drives in my computers, I would, pop it in and just have a good listen. And like that, I think it's kind of hard to see it while you're in it, but when you look back, you think, for me personally, you guys are a big influence, and I think a lot of people will have that perception and kind of feeling.
Yeah, I'm interested in who your influences were as a quartet musically. Like, did you have barbershop influences as 20, 21, and 22-year-olds that you aspired to or were trying to kind of emulate?
Possibly not collectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, not. I wouldn't say as a unit we had a particular.
I mean, we nicked a good amount of stuff from Metropolis.
And Fred.
Yeah.
Vocal Spectrum and Four Voices were really current and popular at the time.
Yeah. And I remember Vocal Spectrum being over a couple of times in the years leading up to us forming.
Brighton.
And so I think,
there, weren't they? Yeah.
Brighton and so on. So I think we'd all kind of about Vocal Spectrum, as so many quartets have done.
Yeah.
So because they've come to BABS a few times. Obviously, No No Nora was our kind of big first song, and that was done by Four Voices. So I'm copying that.
Yeah.
Personally, the tenor from Real Time, Tim Brosmer, he was my idol. Like, I wanted to model my voice after him.
That was Al's warm-up process.
Yeah.
It's a real-time CDs.
Real time on the way, and it works. We heard it. We heard the evidence of it. It's like, how?
I'm really struggling. I'm really hot. So I'm just going to go and listen to some real time, and then
we can hear it through the walls.
I think in this country as well, personally speaking, I grew up in my club listening to Sound Crew, our 2003 champs. And then Andy Foster, probably the best tenor in BABS' history. He was my section leader at Telford Airs. Andy was the tenor section leader in the youth chorus when it first started. And so another kind of personal influence for me would be Sound Crew, and especially Andy Foster. Probably similar with the other three youth chorus guys, which was Rob Barber, Tim Barkworth, and Dunk Queen Yates.
Yeah.
We actually sung like a 5-part song with Dunk Queen Yates in our early days, didn't we?
Hallelujah. Oh, yeah.
But it was Dunk who gave us some of our most formative coaching moments in between that prelims, where surprise seated second.
But we didn't have Andy Foz coach, did we? We had Tim for a couple of sessions. We had Rob a lot. So Rob was there on our contest day in the warm room with us as well. It was really key for us just to partly to make us realise how serious this was.
Well,
a little bit.
He took us through a visualization exercise that just sort of calmed us down and centered us.
We'd sing the valley. He goes, "Close your eyes." So we did, and then he said, "Mine," and we did. And then he said sing, and we came in on the same chord.
About a minute.
And we all stopped, and he went, "You're ready."
Yeah.
It was like,
but yeah, Rob was a huge, probably our biggest coach in those 6 months leading up to May in 2008. And also, like you say, Dunk Queen Yates. And I remember Dunk, we went out after a coaching session, we went out for some food, and we were kind of talking about aspirations. And he said, "You're not going to win." I'm like, okay, thanks, Dunk. But actually, that was the best thing he could have said because it took all the pressure off us. So it sounds like a weird thing to say, to walk into a competition thinking we don't think we're going to win or not, almost not wanting to win really.
It was an opportunity.
That pressure was off.
Rob practice almost.
Rob had a high standard and he expected it of us, so we delivered. Tim fine-tuned, and for me, Dunk gave us the skills to manage ourselves on our own without a fifth person there. That kind of duetting, allowing us each other to help ourselves to help each other, and that kind of thing. That's how it felt to me with that build up. Can't thank any of them enough. Really.
When we won and we did our kind of swan song, I did a speech to say thank you to everybody that had helped us. and I've been heckled and bullied about it ever since. I basically said, like, thank you so much to Tim Barkworth. He's been a great support. Rob Barber, he's been a great support. Don't worry, it's been a great support, and our friends and our family have just been a great support. And so yeah,
we were wanting
bullied
to
mercilessly
we
for
were
saying
wanting to
great
him
support.
on the stage, but it's not the time.
So you know,
Happy to resort to an audience clapometer on that show for what song we ended with, because we only knew four or five anyway. It's like an audience vote on what we sang.
What stuck out to me a minute ago was you listed as well as all the kind of instrumental UK barbershop names who were very formative for you. You listed a lot of comedy quartets. So Fred, Sound Crew, all do lots of funny stuff on stage. Was that and you've done stuff like the evolution of music, or you've done stuff that I don't know if you think of Monkey Magic as a quote unquote comedy quartet, but you've definitely done stuff that is funny on stage.
And that kind of came out after the contest, really, wasn't it? Or as the years, quite a few years after the contest. Well, being the Great British Barbershop Boys for a while kind of brought an element of that expectation of, okay, we've got to fill a lot of time here, so we need to have a variety. We need to make it entertaining, especially thinking of people that may never come across this style of music before.
There's only so many times you can sing a heart-wrenching ballad on a show for the public, and that's probably about one time you can probably get away with once in a show. Everything else has to be
so we had one, it was easier.
Beat or easy beat or comedic kind of thing. So
absolutely.
So yeah, I think, and also yes, we were influenced by Fred and Sound Crew and Metropolis, but if you ever sitting on one of our rehearsals, like we've just been rehearsing today, we do mess around,
laugh more than we sing.
Yeah. From the start and still today, it's still just the same.
We find each other hilarious. Nobody else does.
The style of humour or performance that we like, it suits our character as individuals. But we've had coaching. We've very lucky over the years that we've sung with a chorus that have brought a quartet over for some coaching. And so while we were joining that chorus's rehearsal, maybe we had some time with the coaches as well. And Metropolis came over, another comedy quartet from the States. Bolton very kindly asked us to, well, they didn't ask us, no, but they allowed us to join them for their trip to international, because we were going as well. So we joined them on the rises. And they had Metropolis over, and we had some great coaching. But they introduced us, Metropolis, to the concept of a 1%er joke. That we find it funny, and maybe only 1% of the audience will get it or find it funny, but that's funny to us as well. The 99% of your audience might not even get that was a joke at all.
If you have any jokes in the song, you're going to cover a wide spread of the audience, surely.
We'll have 100 different jokes to cover.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, you need at least 101% jokes to make sure everyone gets that little nice feeling of being on the inside of an in-joke and go, oh, I feel so included.
There's always one, that's not going to laugh at anything. Margaret in the fourth row.
It was never something we took to a contest stage in the end, though, was it? That kind of thing.
With all of that came later. We were
without the pressure of contest.
The life of the quartet. We did 3 internationals. One immediately after that, BABS in 2008, again where we had no expectation that we were winning. We were focused on 6 weeks time we're going to international for the collegiate contest, and so that was our first one, and we were utterly overwhelmed by the size of the stage and the size of the audience and the experience and the jet lag and everything else. And that was fantastic. We did 2 more after that where we, as BABS champs, were going as collegiate, but also to represent in the big boys contest. And I don't know about you, I feel like we realized over a couple of years that we're not really a competition quartet. We like doing shows. We like singing in the bar in the afterglows and singing on shows and having that dialogue with the audience and keeping it fun, keeping it light, keeping it easy. And that when we sing in a competition, not that we've done it that often, we maybe try too hard vocally. We're working the wrong muscles a little bit, sort of thing. And so, I mean, Zach's mentioned the the record deal and everything that followed that was a series of tour dates where we needed to pull together 70, 80 minutes worth of music.
Time to fill, yeah. So speaking of that, I think it's probably about time we arrive onto when I was chatting to you before this interview, what you eponymously dubbed as the very crazy time. So I think it's probably about time we we went on to that. So yeah, let's talk about Sony, I suppose.
2010. We
yeah.
we were at BABS going for. I think did we sing for score? We knew we were going
Yeah.
to.
We were going to Philly.
We were going to
Yeah.
Philly anyway, and a guy called Simon King.
But
got
just
in
be, yeah.
touch.
So it wasn't even
Was
Sony at first. It ended
No.
up being Sony.
Yeah.
It started out Simon King, who's I've just mentioned. March out. So if you've ever seen the film or heard of the group called the Fisherman's Friends, the Port Isaac Fisherman's Friends,
Yes.
it was Simon and a musician friend he had called Rupert. They were the guys who discovered the Fisherman's Friends and had the idea of recording them and releasing an album with them, and had big success with that. They're portrayed in the film, but very differently portrayed in the film to how they're actually like. So I think the Fisherman's Friends were like 2009, like summer of 2009ish, I think. So Simon and Rupert were looking for their next thing. He told us he had the idea of doing like a fireman's chorus or something like that,
There's a
and
few.
never quite got it off the ground. He was looking for something weird. He thought, well, how about just a barbershop quartet?
That's weird. There we go.
Yeah, something that's a bit less, not your usual
Unusual.
boy band
Yeah.
kind of thing. So he then literally, I think he said he Googled Barbershop Quartet UK, and we came up as got an email from him in like April, and he said, can I come and hear you guys and meet and discuss?
He came to watch the contest, didn't he?
Yeah, so he
Took
came
us out for a meal that night.
In
He
Harrogate.
came up to Harrogate and watched some of the barbershop contests and some of the shows, saw us, we sang for him. He took us out for a meal, and basically the premise was, this is what I've done in the past with the Fisherman's Friends. I think you guys could do something similar. Can I become your manager? And we just try. I'll take you to some record labels down in London, see if they bite. They might not bite, and in which case we'd say our goodbyes. If they do, fantastic. Let's see what happens. And we were all not skeptical.
Baffled.
We
I think that's what I would be.
Straight in.
We were kind of a bit do we really want to do this? But then I think in the end, that's like our motto, but we'd always had this outlook of let's just do stuff and have fun. And this we went in very much. We consciously said let's just do it for fun. Let's not get too wrapped up in it. If it happens, it happens.
We've done Britain's Got Talent.
Oh yeah,
A couple of years before. Like we went
months before, I think.
Tried.
Years, yeah.
Yes, and
We got all 4 red crosses, big, very
pretty quickly.
surprisingly loud buzzers, off-puttingly
Yeah.
loud buzzers.
Only Blue Skies isn't a fan favourite. That's fine. So we'd been through that element of that world. It's different TV to record label, but that element of the world. So do we bother kind of thing? But then I think we got back from international.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens. Yeah.
And it was a time in our life where we didn't have really family to think of. We just had early relationships kind of thing. We were all in our early 20s, early mid-20s, weren't we? So, what have we got to lose kind of thing.
So they took us around a few labels. We went to Decca, got turned down by Decca, but so were the Beatles, so that's fine.
Warner,
Island Records.
Warner.
One of them was like, are you going to be okay with like the boaters and stuff? And we're like, maybe not. And then we showed them a photo of what we normally wear with the whole matching blue suits, the silver shoes. And went, oh, that's okay then.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's
Weird enough. Like,
that's sufficiently kooky for it to work for us. Yeah.
It was novel for their teams that we could just show up, blow a pitch and sing. They were expecting a delay of setting up a drum kit and all of that.
or happy to go to a gig.
Play a demo tape or something,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
just doing it live in their offices.
Yeah.
Did you find that having to kind of buy into or leaning into the kind of the kooky nature of what people want to see in barbershop, did you find that challenging or stressful, or the most natural thing in the world?
I don't think it was stressful. I think that sometimes we get a bit hung up on, we don't want to be conveyed as this straw voters and all that kind of stuff, but actually that is kind of part of the history of barbershop, part of the way it's been portrayed in the media, and we didn't really have any issue with how it was.
To be fair, when Sony Arista picked us up, they weren't pushing that,
No.
but we were dressed, smart suits, but there was a red and white stripy tie, which is just like a nod to the iconography there. It modernized the look.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember it always made me laugh when from before the Sony stuff, but around this time, the barbershop was, oh, you're so cool, you're so young and cool. And like we was up like we are the least cool people in the world. Like, so yeah, I suppose it wasn't like too far of a stretch to be just play on that kind of fun novelty factor kind of thing. I don't think it didn't feel like that. So yeah, we arrived at Sony, and it just so happened that one of the A&R guys at Sony was after his he had a hole in his kind of schedule, if you like, for a Christmas record for like middle of the road, not like your big pop-it record, but like the grandma and granddad kind of record at Christmas.
Well,
and this was in August.
Album.
Yeah.
There'd been a lot of the priests,
Oh yeah.
the soldiers,
Yeah.
the Chelsea pensioners, and acts of that flavour.
Yeah, and you had that gap there because we went in and it was August. Simon said originally it might be for Valentine's Day or Mother's Day that we'd be perfect for an album for, and we're like, okay. But yeah, this guy we went in, he had this. It was August. He didn't have his priests, whatever it is, novelty kind of thing act for Christmas, and he said, right, we'll do it, but I need a Christmas album, and it needs to be ready by the end of September.
Right. So when can I ask, when you learnt you're being asked to do a Christmas album, at that point in time, how many Christmas songs were in your repertoire, if any?
Three.
Three.
Yeah.
Right.
The night we signed the contract, we were in a recording studio and we recorded the three we knew.
Plus one new one.
Plus did we sight read? We signed Noel. I was like the sight read Noel or something like that.
Yeah.
First Noel, but Little Saint Nick, Let It Snow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
and White Christmas, I think probably, but
because we had done a few Christmas shows before that, and so we picked up three songs by the Alley Cats, the American kind of duo group. Have a great Christmas album, and Mando kindly sent us the music for it, and we'd learned them already, and so we contacted him, hey, we've got this, do you mind if we sing those arrangements? Like, sure, go ahead. So it's been very nice like that. And they were the three that we knew. So then it was a massive call to arms, wasn't it? Arranging things.
It also made copyright a lot easier with a lot of Christmas songs being out of the public domain. It did make that more accessible, and Joe did.
I did.
Silent Night. Al did. Deck the. Do you mean you did Deck the Halls together?
Yeah,
we started it off, and a bit of that, and then I did.
You did 4 or 5?
I did 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I think but then we had the pleasure of getting Paul Davis and
Liz Garnett
with what It'll Be Lonely This Christmas was Paul's, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The original song for the album, Christmas #1, which we still keep, the repertoire is great, was Liz Garnett. So it's great actually getting more barbershop on there by default, but also actually being able to sing Old Lang Syne contest barbershop on the album. I think mainly because they had no idea.
Yeah.
There were ongoing conversations with the label about how many of the tracks would be straight a cappella, and full on barbershop, and how many would have backing tracks, and often we didn't necessarily know
we had no
that it
idea.
would have a backing track until we heard the fine shut.
Trumpets coming down.
Right. So then that's a huge arranging challenge, right? If you're arranging something that you're not sure whether there's going to be a backing track or not, and if there is, you're not sure when it might necessarily start.
We arranged, each one was arranged with a cappella in mind.
Yes.
Now, actually, some of them we've never performed since in a cappella, but all of them were done with that in mind.
That we
which
could
caused
take
it was more of a challenge for those clever individuals down in London who were paid to set
Ryan,
instrumentals to it. I mean, I think there was a lot of swearing involved with "We wish you a merry 12 days of Christmas."
Yeah. The time signatures just
Because
changing every
we were
half,
jumping between the two songs. The guy was not in, did it great, but yeah, it was not.
Yeah, it was because of the time pressure. So we recorded the album up in Liverpool. At the time, I was living in Warrington, and we were working. So literally through the week, we'd be getting arrangements in. In fact, most of the time, probably the arrangements would arrive on the Friday afternoon. Yeah. We'd get to my house after work on Friday, have a very quick look through, and then we'd get up on a Saturday morning. We'd be recording it like that Saturday morning.
Sight reading into the mic.
Yeah, practically sight reading. Yeah, it was. So yeah, it was that for me. That was stressful. I'd have much rather properly learned the songs.
Yeah.
Properly had coaching with them.
I found the London stuff after more stressful.
Oh, okay.
When we're
Yeah.
the promo stuff.
Okay.
The travel, going out on the train to and back. I found that more challenging.
Yeah.
I suppose with that, but
There's more than one cut on the album that was intended to have been a draft. Let's get one in the bank and we'll take it home and we'll listen to it ourselves and learn it, and then we'll come back next weekend and sing it. But we did 6 days of studio time, in which time we recorded 16 songs.
I read about 13.
So by the time we got to Harmony College in August, we'd done we'd done them all.
Yeah.
It was only August. It was
Insanely quick.
like what we had on our head with each
It's a
other.
funny time of year to be in a recording studio in shorts and t-shirt, very, very hot, singing Christmas songs. It was,
Trying to get all into the Christmas feeling. And I think a few times with the album, it kind of felt like that will do, rather than yes, that's the take.
Yeah.
So that's why I just found it stressful. I think if we had our time again, but we had no choice. But it had to be done by September. But we just that will do, rather than everything.
It's sort of very antithetical to how barbershop often works, where if you compete in contests, often you'll have 2 songs, a very small amount of material, but you drill down in such detail on every passage of these 2 songs. So it's kind of a complete world away from being essentially almost like a sort of session vocalist. You show up, here's the music, read it, great, those are the right notes, that'll do, let's go, next one.
That was the clear expectation of the professionals we were working with and what they were used to. And it helped that we'd written or arranged quite a lot of the repertoire on the album, because we could teach it to each other. Well, I arranged it like this. We don't have to sing it that way, but your part goes like this.
Essentially, we got it sooner because it was in-house.
Yes.
As well. I mean, we've always been we were very lucky as a quartet for many reasons when we started, but we've got 4 people who read music, and sight reading was a skill that we kind of had as a starting point.
Came a long way in that period as well.
It did, but we're very lucky that we had that already, really, especially for that scenario.
Well, my memory of the recording sessions was Richard, the sound engineer, just shouting at us like, "More ham it up, come on, more ham, more cheese, come on, more energy, more excitement, more." I was, oh God, I don't even know this song, and I'm trying to sight read it, but also
Are you sure he was talking to you, or was he talking to the assistant who was fetching the sandwiches?
Caterers. I want more ham. We did it for that many hours, and then we'd come back to ours, and we'd be sat there just purposely just having a chill, probably watching Tim Minchin or Flight of the Conchords or something like that. And Richard's in our spare room, laptop, headphones on, till the early hours, editing
and swearing and editing and swearing again.
And then do it again the next day. So
So Zach's memory.
Is that supposed to be that note or that note?
We're singing it a quarter of a tone flat. Pick.
Sorry, Matthew.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Zach's memory of the promo events in London was of stress. I'm just looking back on a lovely piece that Paul Davis wrote describing the launch in the Absolute Ice Bar in the West End. The audience went potty. They clapped and cheered and whooped for more. Cynical A&R men grinned from ear to ear, nodding furiously at each other across the room. Now, how did that feel at the time, and what's the legacy now?
That event absolutely is kind of one of my core memories. It's just like that was. We expected to get a kind of slightly cynical, like, oh, okay, yeah, that's good. And as Paul Davies describes it, he's got a very good way with words. That was exactly how it felt to be there, and it's just the room erupted, and it just the feeling of like, oh wow, actually people really like what we're doing was unexpected and hugely rewarding. Yeah, really fond memories of that moment.
And it was a low ceiling, because we sang in the basement of the ice bar, which they decked out with Christmas trees and fireplaces and all, really cozy.
And a life-size poster.
Yes, I'd love to know where that is actually. And a tiny little stage in the corner of the room, basically enough space for us to be this close together. So it was cozy, but therefore the immediacy for the audience to be, arm's reach, and they're all packed in, and as Paul was saying, you'd expect these jaded. They go to 6 of these a week, with bands and all that sort of stuff, and the vibrancy, the immediacy of us just to be able to blow pitch and then just sing.
We were on it that night. We did. It was awful. All of us felt ready and prepared for it. It was great.
Yeah, I remember imagine that we were allowed to sing not Christmas songs. Oh yeah, we opened with Chordbusters March. That's like right in our wheelhouse vocally, and just managed to smash it and peel the paint off the walls a bit. And so it was quite, and at that stage it was quite refreshing to go, oh yeah, let's do something that's not Christmassy. After we just spent a month in singing nothing but Christmas songs.
And you ask about legacy, Matthew, like obviously I don't know how many professional albums of Barbershop Quartet have been released since. So maybe we poison the well a little bit.
They'll never do that again.
I really want to know whose garage that life-size poster is in.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't well made. No. I was a sign maker at the time. I remember looking at it going, there's a crease there.
Sloppy work.
The manager was like, stop.
And then when you'd had all the promo and you'd released the album and things like that, was there a sort of, I don't know, a week where you suddenly went, oh, I guess we can chill now? Or was it a sort of gradual feeling where you started to think, oh, I've got less commitments this weekend, or I might be able to have a sleep, or, more than 3 hours, that kind of thing? Or was it quite sudden?
Yeah, it was, we did so much stuff. At the time, I was doing my teacher training. Yeah,
I don't know how you did that.
Wow. So we'd be going down to London, get the train down from London. Thankfully, the Warrington train station is on the main London line, so it wasn't too bad. Get down to London, do a gig, get the train back, the last train back, be in the classroom again the next morning. That was pretty mad. We did loads of little gigs like cabaret clubs.
When I said about the stress, that was that element of
and we were all working at the time, so we were all in a similar boat. And that was really quite intense. The album came out on the 6th of December. And so then for the couple of weeks after that, we were monitoring sales and it was going okay. We're starting to get the flavour that it's not selling as much as they had hoped. Then on Boxing Day, they always have a rugby game at Wembley. It was Saracens v Wasps, the Boxing Day game. And we were asked to sing on before the match. So we can say we sung at Wembley. What we don't say is that it was like an hour and a half before kickoff, and there was probably about 200 people in Wembley Stadium. But don't tell anyone that. And it was basically.
We're not recording this. It's fine.
Yeah. It was at that gig on Boxing Day that Simon had the message that they're not gonna go forward with Sony. We didn't sell enough. Merry Christmas, bye. And the only thing that did happen after that was we managed to get loads of cool gigs. Like for that year, we did a bit of a tour. We got some good shows for that as a byproduct of that. So a lot of the stuff up to Christmas was like small promotional spots, whereas then it was after Christmas that then we got to do some felt like proper shows.
And that's where the kind of the musical variety came out.
Yeah.
Like, actually, we've got to fill 2 halves of a show with a guest act, but still. The first half was shorter. The first part was shorter. It was very traditional barbershop. Like if you've not come across it before, visit Chordbusters. Probably Masquerade is the one sad song, ballad possibly, or I don't know. But then we come out the second half, but we did a song from a show. We did a girl band song. We did a boy band song, or Da Vinci's Notebook. parody, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. We did Jungle Book medley just for a bit of Disney, and then Evolution of Song was born. How do you end a show that's gone on a journey of so many Fred's Madrigal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So and things like that. So that kind of element of stuff that probably more well known for came probably because of the need for
The necessities
for that tour.
Brilliant. Well, and after the very crazy time sort of came to an end, as I'm struck by kind of as four individuals, you've all gone to attach so many strings to your barbershop bows. So you've started other quartets, you've won more gold medals, you've directed choruses to an amazing high standard. You've been judges, arrangers. In one case, you've chaired an entire organization through a very difficult time in a global pandemic. What is it that's kept Monkey Magic together as a constant throughout all of that?
I think it's just that we've just really enjoyed spending time together. That's been the core part of it. We've just always been, not always, but for the last 16, 17 years, just been kind of part of each other's lives. We've kind of seen each other start families, and
Well, after that prelims when we came second, it was like, okay, well, let's do this. We hadn't really spent that much time together.
No.
So we had more rehearsals because of BABS, and then we won. It's like, well, okay. Then there was kind of a dead point till when nothing really happened until Harmony College.
Yeah.
And then between Harmony College and the next BABS for our Swan set, we were together virtually every weekend.
We did.
For a gig. I mean, back then there was a different scene for barbershop shows. We're very lucky to be one of the last quartets maybe to benefit from that culture of barbershop shows, really, when it was financially viable.
Yeah, local chorus is inviting us to.
We found we actually got on. It wasn't just about the singing.
That's very lucky, isn't it?
It wasn't like, oh, we need to stand in or anything. It was, we actually, the humours kind of aligned. I mentioned like Flight of the Conchords, and that esque kind of humour was just all of us in tears and that kind of thing. We'd rock up to shows having watched the whole series or something and be in a very silly mood. And
it was formative for the culture, the identity of us. I think collectively, but perhaps almost as people as well, because we did in that 9-month period between that BABS Harmony College, where we came out as champs, and we didn't still really have that many songs.
and you can tell we hadn't quite rehearsed.
Yeah, we had a very quiet summer. And then the 2009 in London Nowhere was our retirement as champs. In that period, we did 52 performances of some nature. Some were weddings and random things like that. But the vast majority were chorus shows where they asked us to come in and headline on the show. We did sometimes 2 a weekend. A couple of times we did 3 in one weekend, which was insane.
Yeah.
But what that meant was that we honed a show set. And we delivered the same show set near enough for most of those performances.
It was Dale Kinnister, wasn't it? We sang at that BABS Harmony College, and we aired a couple of new songs because why not? And it was quite a big night. But Bob Walker, his membership number is probably 1. You know what I mean? Within BABS, bless him, came up with his fantastic quartet. You gently give us so much. When you hit the last note of Nora flat, they all retune to you. With a massive smile, and I was like, "Thanks, Bob." But he meant it as a compliment, like with how we're working together. But then Dale Kinniston was just very honest, as he always is, and just said, just so you know, we'd rather hear old stuff done well than new stuff done not not very well. We didn't use those words.
He was very kind about it, but actually,
less well.
Great advice.
It was, and we've kind of stuck with that ever since, really. Making sure we have new stuff, but when it's ready.
Because you must be now, I think, the longest surviving quartet that's currently still there in BABS, right?
Just when we started, let's not get too morbid.
We have always said that we're planning to do seniors. So the first year that we are eligible for seniors, which is we might be closer to it now than we were to when we won. No, not quite, but we're almost halfway from winning to hopefully
it'd be worth it just for the announcement and all the people going monkey.
Then, of course, you you would then be the first quartet to win the big three, to win the youth quartet, the main national quartet, and the seniors quartet championship. That would be fantastic. And you've sort of preempted my next question beautifully. I mean, because we've interrupted your rehearsal to do this interview, so I was going to ask you firstly what you were rehearsing, and sort of more broadly what the future holds for Monkey Magic.
Well, we've never, you say like we're the longest standing, active past champ or whatever. We don't want to retire. We will sing if anybody wants us to come and sing for them, essentially. And if we were booked on a show, it would be very flattering, and we jump at the chance.
Today we do some rehearsal.
Exactly.
And that's it.
Today is about the Thursday evening of the 50th anniversary convention in a few weeks' time. Beyond that, we've got nothing because we've not been booked for anything. There's nothing. I mean, we have a social. We do have a wedding Christmas, but usually around Christmas time social with all the families and stuff like that. But in terms of singing engagements, there's nothing in the diary. So actually, I've got no idea.
We're cheaper than Limelight as well. So.
Yeah.
I mean, you do get what you pay for, but
very true. Yeah, but no, I suppose when Joe said we kind of honed our show set, it really did forge our friendship as well, and we went through some amazing times together. We also went through some really tough, horrible times in our personal lives when we were younger, and having this quartet as a kind of constant through that. Absolutely. It's been lovely. And then now the last 10 years, it's been lovely because we've all got kids now, and seeing that and going around and socializing and having it more of a social thing to meet as and when we want. We do a bit of singing and a lot of talking and catching up and kind of thing. And so, yeah, it's hopefully it comes across, but we're just really, really good mates.
And every time it's like, shall we have a song? And sometimes we don't, sometimes we do. And each time we start, it's like, oh yeah. Like, it's just it's a muscle memory.
Yeah,
that'd be a nice feeling.
And we were paid quite a backhanded compliment once from an international coach at an event where we were under glass. And it was. What are you going to say?
Trying to work it out.
Does his name rhyme with Hark Male?
It might.
Okay.
That we had evolved a sound and a style of vocal production that suited the audiences that we were singing to a lot at that time. That it wasn't a contest sound; it was a very easy to listen to, accessible sort of sound. I don't know how true that is, but that's what he said. But one that required very little sort of active concentration from us on vocal quality and production. And it's like slipping into an old pair of comfortable slippers that match your feet exactly. You know what I mean? Like it would just settle back, and it happens to
that's nice.
quite nicely, and that's very nice.
We'd always know when we'd done a good gig because it complements our singing. And we'd also always know when we do a bad gig because everyone's polite, no one says anything nasty, but they compliment our shoes.
Oh, I love the shoes. Oh, no, we must have really bombed.
Yeah, I think actually found that useful because the majority of the American audience would either they hadn't seen us or they thought they didn't think the singing was worth commenting on if they mentioned the shoes first.
Yeah.
But those that came to us about the performance and then were like, or I didn't even know, or whatever, that kind of thing was nice. And the highlight of you asking Clay Hyde if he was a busy man. That was the highlight.
So one last question then, if that's all right. So we're talking about the future of Monkey Magic. This is a bit of a curveball. What do you think the future holds for barbershop, kind of more generally? How have things changed since you formed? How do you think things might continue to change? Gaze into your crystal balls collectively, and
what a question, Sam.
Yeah, that's how they get you in interviews. Like it always starts with what's your favorite biscuit, and then it's like, right, bam, Watergate scandal, let's go.
I don't even know how to start answering that question.
I'm looking forward to how the barbershop organisation in the UK can work together. More. Finance is a tough thing for everybody, individual, never mind organisations and things like that. So it's going to be exciting over the next few years to see how all three organisations in the UK can have moments when they can collaborate to support each other, because we're all in this together, we all enjoy this fantastic hobby and things like that. And they always have got on, but to actually see how that progresses.
There's a wealth of opportunity ahead of us as organisations. You know, the world that we formed in as a quartet, singing wasn't as high in the public consciousness, I feel, than it is now. You know, Gareth Malone came along and did a lot of work with choirs and raising that, and you know, now there are rock choirs and all sorts of, you know, it feels like, and you know, this is perhaps just my perspective, that being in a choir is more visible in society. So the opportunities therefore to come together as organizations and even further, you know, raise the awareness of singing and the benefits that has. I love the fact that we formed as a result of the youth chorus coming together. We were all in other quartets, and we came together through the youth chorus. I love the legacy that the youth chorus has in you know, the projects that individuals have gone on to lead and be strongly a part of. I'd like to see more of that. Yeah. The universities with BABS and Bristol and everything that's going on there, broadening the appeal of singing and the way that we go about doing it, and trying to reach as many people and just show how fun it is to have this kind of adventure.
Also, on the flip side to that, generally we can, it's the same in like the classical music world and stuff, worry about the future and things like that. Like personally, when I see Hot Ticket, when I see Limelight, I just think, bloody hell, I'm glad we're not competing now, first of all. And second of all, wow, we're in safe hands here. We don't need to be doom and gloom. Yes, our membership numbers might be slightly down, but there's always, I really can't see that barbershop flame ever being extinguished when there's groups like those that I've mentioned out there. It's just like, there's so much talent in the barbershop world now, in the world, but in the UK, there's just so much talent now, arrangers and amazing performers. We've got better directors, I think, than we've ever had directing choirs now. So for me personally, I think putting aside the organisational stuff, just the musical side, I'm really excited for the future to see where it goes. Just look at the, like I say, Hot Ticket, look at the rise that they've had. And there's the great thing about barbershop, there's always the next line, like the next Hot Ticket there in the wings, isn't there, kind of thing. So yeah, I'm pumped to see where it goes.
Fantastic. Well, I think that's about all the time we have for you, but thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Joe, thank you. Alan, thank you. Zach, thank you. Duncan, you've been a great support. It's been it's brilliant to talk to you. And
thank you for having us, and it's really humbling to be asked to come and talk about ourselves. So yeah, we hope if you're listening to this that it's been a little bit interesting, but no, thank you for the opportunity, and yeah, we've always been big supporters of BABS, and we wish all of BABS a happy 50th birthday. We've supported them, and they've really supported us as an organisation.
Great support. Great support.
Yeah, great. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Well, all the best. We'll let you get back to your rehearsal, and we'll see you all very soon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.